Chloe Feng. You're watching HKIBC's first main news in the Year of Rabbit. I'm Chloe Feng. Now let's take a look at tonight's top stories. The city celebrates and prays for good luck on the first day of the new year. Turkey condemns Sweden for letting a far-right activist burn the Quran. Crowds flocked to Wang Taixing Temple to place the first incense sticks and to pray for good luck in the coming year, while many visited the wishing tree in Lamchun, hoping for their dreams to come true. Janice Low reports.
After almost 2 years, people could once again visit the wishing tree at Lamchun in Taipo. Your dreams could come true by throwing placards with your wish written on the wishing tree. However, the path to achieving success is never easy. Just like this 4-year-old boy who wishes to have a game console was finally a step closer to getting one after 10 attempts. Many chose to visit their loved ones on the first day of the year, but for this family, coming to Lamchun is their tradition even before the daughter was born. This year, they decided to bring along their friends as well. The father revealed that he has been coming here since he was young. He hopes to pass on the tradition to his family and friends, seeing more friends would join him in the afternoon. Chief Secretary Eric Chen also gave it a shot and finally got lucky after almost 8 attempts. Crowds flocked to Wang Taixing Temple in the afternoon, and the queue was almost 500 meters long. Originally from Poland, this family visited the temple for the first time during the Lunar New Year.
Mostly a prosperity and health and longevity. It's joyful, it's nice to see people out together after all these years.
Some worshippers brought along windmills, hoping to derive luck from the decoration when it spins. Last night, worshippers jostled to be among the first ones to burn incense sticks, a ritual that was halted due to COVID for the past 2 years. The city's largest Lunar New Year fair at Victoria Park ended at 2 a.m. this morning. Stall owners left behind unsold flowers, and some late shoppers got lucky before workers from the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department cleared the sites. The remaining flowers were sent to care homes and hospitals across Hong Kong Island. Janice Low, HKIBC.
As the city ushered in the Year of the Rabbit, 2 babies were born shortly after midnight. The first bundle of joy arrived just 3 minutes past midnight. A baby boy was born at the United Christian Hospital. The second sweet package, a baby girl, was delivered at the Baptist Hospital around 1 a.m. Due to COVID restrictions, media interviews were not allowed at public hospitals. Illegal fireworks lit up the sky at midnight during New Year's Eve festivities across the city. Many fireworks displays were seen in several districts around the city, like this one in a residential estate. At A Kong Kok in Sa Tin, the revelry was on a much bigger scale past midnight. Police arrested a 15-year-old boy with 11 kilograms of fireworks. A fire broke out at a residential building in the mid-levels this afternoon. The blaze on Robinson Road was upgraded to number 3 alarm 1 hour later. 2 gas and breathing apparatus teams from the fire services department rushed to the scene. Around 50 people had to be evacuated. At least 6 people, including 1 firefighter, felt unwell and were sent to hospital. The fire was brought under control shortly after 2:30 p.m. Investigators said the blaze was not suspicious, adding that the incident was probably caused by a karaoke machine in the living room. Many people are eager to go overseas despite they have just welcomed the Lunar New Year. At the same time, some pet owners decided to bring their rabbits for staycation while they're away. Janice Low reports.
Crowds filled the departure hall at the city's airport as Hong Kongers continued their holiday exodus in the Year of the Rabbit. Eager travelers had to wait longer as check-in counters were busy. This family could finally resume their annual overseas trip. The mother revealed they had set aside $10,000 for their 6-day trip to Hokkaido in northern Japan. Many residents living abroad returned to the city to spend the festive season with their loved ones, as most restrictions are eased. Being almost 19,000 kilometers away from Hong Kong, this lady who returned from Brazil had not met her sister for 3 years. I felt overwhelmed and wanted to burst out in tears, she added. While their owners are away on holiday, some pet rabbits are enjoying a staycation in Hong Kong. But only 15 lucky bunnies could be pampered at this resort designated for the purpose. The rabbits can get their hair brushed, nails cut, and enjoy meals which are tailor-made for them. What's more, they can even have a birthday party with their new friends in the hotel and enjoy edible cakes. It does not matter if their parents are far away from them because they can stay in touch through pet cameras in the hotel, which are never turned off. However, those wishing to give their rabbits some luxury time off need to act fast, as bookings for Easter holidays are already open. Janice Low, HKIBC.
Finance Chief Po Chen said the government is undecided on whether to hand out another round of consumption vouchers in the Year of Rabbit. Speaking on a radio program, Chen said that he was still listening to views ahead of next month's budget. While there were political parties supporting the consumption vouchers insurance to boost the economy, some worry that it will further weigh on the government's funds, adding there will inevitably be a deficit of at least $100 billion for the fiscal year between 2022 to 2023. Chen also noted the city's economy might face difficulties in the first quarter of the year, but said there should be a stronger rebound in the following months with the quarantine-free travel resumption with the mainland. People across China have run the Lunar New Year with large family gatherings and temple visits. The festival has gained global prominence and was also celebrated from Sydney to San Francisco.
After being muted in the shadow of the pandemic for 3 years, bustling scenes of celebrations are finally back in China. In Beijing, many worshippers flocked to the annual temple fair to offer morning prayers at Badachu Park. The fair will run for a week and is held for the first time since the pandemic began.
心情很激动。
This resident said he's very excited, citing the darkest hours before dawn had passed, and believes the days will only get better.
希望能找到好的姻缘，然后
This woman prayed to find a boyfriend and send New Year's wishes to Hong Kongers. As more people went back to their hometowns to reunite with families, public celebrations and cultural events were held on a larger scale compared to a year ago. A handicraft called the Lord Rabbit or Rabbit God, with 400 years of history in Beijing, emerged as one of the new local favorites. Carved as a warrior with a golden helmet and armor, Lord Rabbit was believed to be a deity on the moon, in charge of health and medicine.
好的事情来，不好的事情呢，我用光亮给它照走。
Zhang Zhongqiang, a master of this clay sculpture tradition, upgraded the rabbit into a new version specially for the Year of Rabbit, with hopes to ease the pandemic. Other than China, the Lunar New Year celebrations were held in many other parts of the world.
Hello everyone, Happy New Year!
In England, London's Chinatown is celebrating the festival without any COVID restrictions for the first time in 3 years. Organizers expected over 500,000 people to attend the parade and entertainment performance. In Australia, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese visited the Chinatown area in Sydney as he wished Happy New Year to shopkeepers and was given dumplings as gifts. Traditional dragon dancers went from shop to shop, attracting viewers and interacting with the shoppers. And in the U.S., residents of Chinatown in San Francisco welcomed the Lunar New Year, as state officials have declared the festival a holiday. California is the first state in the U.S. to declare Lunar New Year as a statewide public holiday.
Turkey has condemned Sweden for allowing a vile Quran burning protest by a far-right activist in Stockholm. This comes amid spiraling tensions as Sweden's approval to join NATO is blocked by Ankara, Azam Khan reports.
Relations between Turkey and Sweden have reached a new low after Ankara condemned the burning of a copy of the Quran during a protest in Stockholm, describing it as a vile act. A far-right activist from Denmark received permission from the Swedish government to stage a protest outside the Turkish embassy in Stockholm, where he made disparaging remarks about immigrants and Islam, while surrounded by police, before burning the holy book. About 100 people gathered nearby for a peaceful counter-demonstration. Swedish officials stressed that freedom of expression in their constitution gives people extensive rights to express their views publicly, though incitement to violence or hate speech isn't allowed. But according to many in Turkey, that's exactly what the act was. Outraged protesters in Istanbul took to the streets in reaction and set fire to the Swedish flag while chanting slogans calling for punishment against the Dane and Sweden. This Turkish official who joined the protest said it was disgraceful for a country that sees itself as a cradle of democracy and human rights to allow such an act under the pretense of alleged democracy. Tensions were already reaching a boiling point between both countries after Ankara cancelled a planned visit by Sweden's defense minister in response to the Nordic countries' issuing of permits for anti-Turkish protests, where an effigy of President Erdogan hanging from a rope was set on fire. Pro-Kurdish activists again marched through Stockholm, waving flags of various Kurdish groups, including those which Turkey, the United States, and Europe consider terrorist groups. All this comes in the wake of Sweden and Finland's bid to join NATO, despite historically being non-aligned nations. The approval is held up by Turkey, which accused Sweden of being soft on Kurdish militants and demanded the extradition of Kurdish rebels. In the meantime, it does not seem like Turkey is any closer to allowing the Scandinavian countries to enter NATO anytime soon. Azam Khan, HKIBC.
Police in the U.S. state of California are looking for a suspect after a shooting incident during a Lunar New Year celebration left at least 9 people dead. Online footage showed officers rushing to the scene. The shooting occurred around 10 p.m. local time in Monterey Park, about 11 kilometers from downtown Los Angeles. Witnesses saw they heard firecrackers before realizing they were gunshots instead. Investigations are ongoing and the death toll is likely to rise. On to the weather now, mainly cloudy with some sunny periods during the day with a few rain patches at night. Temperatures will range between 17 and 22 degrees. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's the main news on the first day of the Lunar New Year. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Chloe Feng. And from all of us at HKIBC, we wish you a healthy, joyful, and prosperous Year of the Rabbit. Please take care.